Hey, so I'm pretty late to this, kind of, by a lot. Like, jeez, I was late to this. Not my fault though, I kinda had a headset problem when this homework happened to conveniently pop up, so what matters is I'm here now. So let me check the script, what am I supposed to be doing here? Oh, I'm supposed to do some presentation, I see. Alright, you know what? I'll do what I get. Welcome to VVVVVV. Or, I hope that's enough V's. This game is a simple game where you play as a little stickman-like character that has the ability to invert his own gravity. The game plan is simple. All your friends got absolutely scattered across Dimension V, and it's your job as the captain to go find them, get your crew back, and stop this interference. If I premise this simple, you'd wonder how a game like this even got to such heights that it did when it was originally popular. That's what we're gonna talk about though, and that's what I'm here for, as part of a totally not mandatory assignment. I'm going to explain to you the mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics of VVVVVV. Alright, I guess only fair we start the mechanics. There's no game without mechanics anyway. VVV has one singular major mechanic. I'm just gonna call it VVV from now, because, you know, there's no reason to say the entire 6 Vs. There's only one major mechanic in this whole game, and it's the ability to invert gravity. Simple, right? But believe it or not, this mechanic goes a long way in this whole video game. This game really does some smart tricks with some clever platforming and level design to really try to make you use this variability to its just about as far as it can go, really. The game also just kind of lets you take the mechanics how far you can take them. The game is very open. It doesn't really make all its levels very linear for you to just have one set path to walk through them. There's a lot you can do with this very mechanic in this game. To add on to that, while it's not really a mechanic, the game's world is very open. Or rather, it's not a mechanic in my opinion, just more of a little feature to help nod to the level design, but it's a very open world. Once you save the first crew member, you have freedom of choice. There is so little to say about the mechanics that I can just segue into dynamics right now, actually. The game's controls are just as simple as the mechanics. You press space to flip gravity from where you are. You can only do it as long as you're on the ground, and you can also use the up and down arrows if you prefer to switch gravity to that direction, if that's more of your thing, instead of using the spacebar. But yeah, in terms of mechanics and dynamics, this game stays relatively simple. Nothing really changes there at all. But aesthetics, now this is where this game gets interesting. Remember how I said the game's level design is pretty open and there's a lot of stuff to do? Well, it's not really wrong. Once you rescue that first crew member, you're catapulted straight into the outskirts of Dimension V. You can basically just flip gravity and go major leaps of faith away to wherever you want to go. On top of this, the game will start pulling some really tricky platforming level design. So tricky, in fact, that sometimes it may just make you want to rethink your entire approach about flipping gravity and what it can really be utilized for in certain places. Oh ho ho! But you thought it was over. Nah, we got a bonus round. It's time to talk about the developer interview. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of interesting actual game design related stuff in this interview, but I really do have to point out the fact that the title is actually pronounced with one V, and I didn't know that until I actually looked at this interview after finishing putting all of this stuff down about the other MDA things. Now, we could talk all day about specifics of mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics and whatnot, but at the end of the day, as the developer said himself, with the reason of being asked why this game blew up, that's fun. That's it. it can boil down to the simple mechanics of this game, how easy it is to pick up. It's just fun. Cool levels. It's not a big game. It's only $5, and it does not take long to get through this game. But it's fun. The game's also heavily inspired by Mega Man 5. The mechanic of the gravity switching in the first place isn't even at all original. But it's fun, and that's what matters. Another thing about this game that definitely adds to the aesthetics as well as being something mentioned in the interview is that this game was released in a time where a lot of devs was focusing on trying to get that one-to-one perfect realism as much as they could, trying to reach whatever can be closest to what we see through our own eyes in the first place. So this game was kind of made in a retro nostalgia kind of way. Well, it wasn't prompted by those things, but it's the fact that it's not trying to be those things that also kind of helped it to propel itself out there. A last little thing mentioned in the interview is that the developer was mainly inspired by things like Grand Theft Auto 5 and deciding to make the game a more open structure to its level design. Which, I mean, you could definitely see the parallel for. Obviously, it's not as free as those games that have this big of a world, but as a world they can explore, period. There's a lot of neat levels and cool things to find. Alright. Bonus round's over. Let's wrap this up. So, we're done. That was V. It feels so weird calling it V now. Oh my god, what the hell. Anyways, all in all, V is a very simple game. With a simple mechanic, and it's designed for just one purpose, really. Just have fun with it. World's open. There's a lot of sick levels built into it you can play. You can mess around with the game. I think it even got an editor lately. So, really just do what you want. The game itself won't stop you from doing whatever levels you want to do, seeing whatever content you want to do, saving the crew members in whatever order you want to do. Really, just nothing at all. Go crazy. Shoot, why you even have my word telling you this? Go play the game. Okay, maybe saying to play the game was a little too sudden, but you know, I think you get my point. Or at least, I hope you do. So, all in all, don't really overthink things when it comes to making games. I mean, this game doesn't have anything complex to it. Really, it's just one mechanic and a lot of levels. It doesn't have to be, no game has to be this complicated after all. Well, that complicated. That implies this game is complicated. It's really not. Well, I hope you had fun with this video. I hope I got all of these things in detail. And maybe spend a good $5, play the game. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta get back to unlocking some more stuff on the Binding of Isaac and maybe cutting in some more rhythm games while I'm at it. I think Vivid Stasis Chapter 3 drops, so I think I have better things to do. See ya!